Hi, Sue Borison here from Your Teen Media. Today I'm with Diana Graber. She is the founder of CyberWise and author of Raising Humans in a Digital World. And she has a degree that I love saying, Masters in Media Psychology and Social Change. So Diana, at this unusual moment in history when we are all nestled together, having these glorious moments as families, there are some downsides to this. So what are you hearing from parents, and what advice do you have for us?
First of all, let me say that social change part of my major is coming in really handy right now. So I'm relying on that. But to answer your question, a lot of parental concerns right now are still surrounding screen time. But I think because of the moment we're in, we really have to set our normal concerns aside because kids are using screens more than ever. They have to get their schoolwork often. It's their only connection to their social networks, to their real life friends is via the screen. So I think this is a moment where we have to give ourselves and our kids a little grace and maybe ease up on our normal preconceptions of what's an appropriate amount of screen time for everybody.
So thank you. That was great advice. My concern in this whole story is that we don't know what our kids are doing on their devices. So
Yeah.
trying to figure out how many hours of it are work, how many hours of it are gaming, if you've got a gamer, how many hours of it are socializing. Like how do we create some structure when most of us, even adults, are sitting in front of screens for so many hours a day?
Right. Well, just like normal times, I think we have to go into this thing with agreements. We agree that these hours will be used for this, these hours will be used for socializing, this will be your entertainment time. And I mean, there's no shortcuts even today. I mean, parents still have to know what their kids are doing online. And so you got to check in and you have to ask and you have to be curious and maybe not judgmental because sometimes what looks like wasting time to us might be their connections with their friends. It's gaming, for example. For boys, they don't really use the social networks that a lot of girls use, but they'll connect with their social group via games. And so where that might look to us that they're wasting their time, for them, that replaces that face-to-face time that they're not getting during this period.
One of the things I love about your approach with technology is how much you value the opportunity it creates for our kids. Um, is there a place here for worrying about cyberbullying or porn or any other things that our kids have access to any other given time? How do we kind of navigate the extra freedom while also keeping a close and healthy watch on our kids? And also, can you distinguish kind of middle school versus high school in your advice?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big distinction, middle school and high school. For middle school, that they're just starting to develop that area of their brain that allows them to do ethical thinking and be able to think through the consequences of their actions. And so it's still a time where parents need to monitor more and see what they're doing. Make sure they're at least 13 if they belong to social media networks. That's the rule with most of them. And then it's really different from your high school students because they've been doing this stuff longer than middle school students, and you're generally not going to be part of their world like you would with the middle school students. So you've got to give them a little more leeway. But in both instances, it's super important to check in and be curious and ask what they're doing online.
If you're a family who hasn't had these conversations before, you have a curriculum, and it's a gentle and kind curriculum. Where would you suggest that parents start right now talking about the social appropriateness of what your curriculum?
Yeah. Well, actually, our curriculum is called CyberCivics. And during this extraordinary time, we're actually giving some of our lessons away for free. So on our website, there's a little bar at the top of CyberCivics that you can click on. But we have three what we think are really great lessons about how to be a good citizen during this time. And they're really important lessons because for kids, they don't kind of understand, especially younger kids, why they have to stay home and how that impacts a whole community. So we thought we'd start with some of our lessons on what it means to be a community member. So those are free for anybody. And then right now, any of the schools that are enrolled in CyberCivics, we've opened up our curriculum for free for all their families. We think it's really an important time to discuss how we're using technology and to use it safely and appropriately and ethically. So we're working overtime here, trying to get these lessons into as many hands as we can.
And what's the URL?
It's cybercivics.com.
Great. So if you could give something out of that lesson right here, right now, for somebody who doesn't have time right this second to go check out your fabulous website, what would you suggest they do to start the conversation?
I think the most important place to start is, as I said earlier, have agreements with your child on when and where and for what to use technology. And then number two, check in, see what they're doing. Don't be judgmental about what they're doing. Like one thing that I think we may come out of from this horrible time that we're going through is that previous to this, parents always thought, oh, our kids are using too much technology and blah, 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 and it's all bad. Not every parent, but some parents will say that. And I think this will be a time that they will realize technology has so many wonderful purposes to connect us with each other and to, maintain our schooling and our learning. And then for kids who are so excited about technology, I think they might come out of this saying, you know what? I miss life beyond the screen. I miss face to face. Screens aren't all they're cracked up to be, right? So I kind of see us coming to the middle ground here through all this. Maybe we'll meet kids halfway and they'll meet us halfway, and then maybe we'll all find a really good balance with technology.
Well, I can't wait till we're talking about that time.
I can't either. I hope that we can get there. But already the little bright spots I've seen is parents who were really tech adverse before this are starting to see how their kids are using it to learn really incredible things. I mean, there is so much great free curriculum online available right now. Companies have really stepped up offering great tools and services for kids, and I think parents are seeing that. And then I see kids going, gosh, I'm so sick of the screens. And somebody brought this up to me today. If you go outside and walk around and see families and kids walking around, they're not staring at their screens like they used to. They're actually looking around because it's so novel. So
Yeah.
I got to look for silver linings in this really hard time that we're going through.
Yeah, I think there's lots of silver linings. I worry about our health and wellness. Like, if we could get past the, like, we all survive, then there's some real wonderful silver linings here.
Right, right. I
Um,
know. For
okay,
sure.
so the idea of having an agreement with your kid, for some people, they're going to be hearing this for the first time. It's
Yeah.
we talk about it in other situations. We talk about driving contracts, technology contracts, just in general. When before the situation is heightened and there's tension and emotions, that's the time to sit down. And what would you encourage that conversation to look like?
Well, actually, on our website for parents, which is cyberwise.org, we have an area called Learning Hubs. And if you scroll on the Learning Hubs, we have a technology agreement. And it's a template that parents can use that has those discussion points on there. It's not meant to be like a contract. It's meant to be like, here's our negotiating points. And they can go through each section. Like, let's talk about, meal times. What do we do with our phones? And let's talk about bedtime. What's a good time to turn off our technology? And I think for a parent to start that conversation with a child is a great place to start if you've never done this before, because it's not like you're setting rules with them, but you're talking about, like, we are in this weird time. How can we agree to use our technology best? And so if parents need a template, we offer that for free on our site.
And even if you haven't done it yet, I'm going to put out there that it's never too late. Like, even with teenagers, I've done it with my teenagers after I've talked to Diana and realized that I was remiss in certain areas. Like, I just said, hey, we never did this, and let's do it now. Let's sit down and talk about this. And as long as I captured it at the right time, they were really healthy conversations. So if you're listening right now and thinking, yeah, my kid's too old, I don't think they're ever too old to have these conversations. You might not get exactly what you wanted out of it, but it is a negotiation, right?
Totally. And the thing is, like, when you mention older kids, what a lot of parents have said to me is they've heard a lot about TikTok and they've never really had time to sit down and ask their kid to show it to them. And there's a lot of really funny TikTok videos out there regarding the moment that we're in. And so that's a great place for a parent to start, is like, ask your teenager, hey, do you use TikTok? I've been hearing about these videos. Can you show some to me? Like, and then together they can watch them and maybe have a laugh over some of the stuff that's out there. But I mean, we have this downtime. It's
Yeah.
a good time to turn to your teen and have them kind of bring you up to speed on all the things you've been missing out on.
Yeah, I do get eye rolls when I ask those questions, but I also do get somebody helping me. So
Yeah.
it's like I have to
What? We
weather.
get eye rolls for everything, right? So it's like, get used to the eye rolls,
Right,
parents. Part
right.
of being a parent, right?
And one of the things that you mentioned is that you're on your site, you're talking about you have information about why kids should be listening to the rules right now. And you said something about especially younger kids, but I actually think especially older kids, because
Yeah.
they are tortured. I mean, the idea that they can't see their friends, their girlfriends, their boyfriends. And so from what I'm hearing, and in my own house also, they're doing workarounds that are not
Yeah.
exactly to the letter of the law.
Yeah.
And so I think even if you have an older kid, you should check out Diana's site and look at some of the information. What in particular were you talking about?
Well, on the CyberWise site, we have what's called learning hubs, and we have a learning hub on just about every technology product or topic. And so if there's something that a parent's struggling with, it's Snapchat or TikTok that we just talked about, they can find a little hub on there and kind of educate themselves so that when they come to their child, they at least are armed with a little bit of education. So, and that's
But
also,
in particular, you were talking about CyberCivics,
yeah,
right?
and CyberCivics is where we offer the free lessons right now. So that's cybercivics.com. And again, right now we're offering lessons on what it means to be a good citizen and how that's so
Yeah,
important right now when we
that's what
all
I was
keep
referencing.
each other safe and protected, and to have a child understand why that's important. So we start with there's 3 lessons. The first one is about the real world, and then we move into why it's important to be a good citizen in the online world.
And is that specific to an age group or?
You know, it's really, it works best 11 to 14. You can amend it to go younger or older, but that's our core audience.
Mhm. Okay, so leave us with kind of your one piece of wisdom for parents of teenagers. And we have an audience of parents with middle schoolers and high schoolers. So what's your parting words?
Well, my parting words right now is grace. You know, give our kids grace, give ourselves, don't be hard on ourselves. I mean, this is hard for all of us. If we feel like we're spending too much time online, or that we're not understanding technology, or we don't understand what our kids are doing, cut yourself a little slack. And likewise, cut the same slack for your children. You know, they're going to be relying on technology now more than ever. It's essential for learning, for their connection to their really important peer groups. So I think we have to all be easy on ourselves and easy on one another.
Thank you very much, Diana Graber, founder of CyberCivics and CyberWise, and check out all her stuff. She's got really valuable information for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.